broadcast. Like it, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Tell all of them that cares to join us that Mayegun today. And if you have done that already, thank you. So tonight, we are starting from the rant, or is it called the ranting, of one of the I-heard, sellers of Tinubu's illegitimate regime. His name is Sunday Oponu Dare, Abina Dare Oponu Lojo Sunday, a failed minister of sports, advisor to Bokuari's failed government. Now, the communication personal assistant to Tinubu on communication, Sunday Dare, who took to his Twitter yesterday after Peter Obi condemned the economic hardship that Nigerians have been subjected to under the directionless, propagandized, illegitimate regime of Tinubu, the drug baron, the drug addict, the drug, Okay. I'm thinking that I'm like pushing that too much, okay? So maybe too fast. Anyway, the jagabanditi, the jagadicti, aṣíwájú àwọn olè, aṣíwájú àwọn agbèrò, Tinubu is an illegitimate regime with directionless policy, inhumane policies of APC. So in the last 3 days, more than 70 Nigerians have died. They were stampeded to death because they were out to take advantage of a free Christmas rice from Ibadan to Okija, and from there to Abuja. Tinubu's regime, which has brought upon this hardship, this economic ruin on millions of Nigerians, right? And they wouldn't take responsibility for that. Okay, so Peter Obi took to his own Twitter to condemn this hardship, sympathized with the victims and their families, and then called out the Tinubu's regime to do something about the failing or the failed economy under them, or rather than take heed or take to the advice. This hired failed sports minister, Dare Oponu, Lojo Sunday, took to his own Twitter and then blamed Peter Obi on this. According to him, Peter Obi is not sounding like a statesman. I mean, Peter Obi, according to, he said Peter Obi is taking advantage of the hardship that people are facing, right? Instead of Peter Obi to sympathize like a statesman and then support Tinubu's renewed shege. Yes, he said he should have supported Tinubu's renewed hopelessness rather than condemning Tinubu's action. And according to him as well, he said Tinubu has saved Nigeria, just like the old Olori Buruku Wale Edun, your finance minister too, said. So this Dare Oponu Lojo Sunday, which is pretty much not like on, okay, yesterday was Sunday, Abi. Oh, that's that kind of explains it better, right? So to them, if people are dying in Nigeria right now, the likes of Peter Obi, it is not in his mouth for him to come out and rebuke the government, condemn or criticize them. Rather, Peter Obi should be out encouraging the people to pray for Tinubu and at the same time to support Tinubu's policies, because whatever it is that people are facing in Nigeria right now, things are going to get better. And if it is not for this call, maybe a lot of us would have been hitting our own children. Now, you know something? When Bokwari was destroying Nigeria, In the same vein, some of his own vuvuzelas too, they were blaming everyone and everything except themselves. Today, the Okponu, Ojo Sunday, Dare, said that Nigeria has made more money under Tinubu. Nigeria has attracted more investors, and then local government areas have received more money. States have received more money. Also, Tinubu has shared rice repeatedly. So what else does Peter Obi want Tinubu to do that he hasn't done? That rather than for Peter Obi to be an elder statesman, Peter Obi always take advantage of the hardship that people are passing through to condemn Tinubu. I couldn't make any sense of it, but I just have to use it as the writer of this chart this evening. As you are watching this broadcast, they are streaming, I believe, what is believed to be the recorded presidential chart or media charts for Kolu, cut and join as usual, not live. And the question pretty much like curated to serve a particular propaganda and interest. So we are going to see that some other time, probably tomorrow, right? However, tonight, we are starting from another guy who was a guest on Arise, talking about this, talking about this tragedy. Meanwhile, the new minister for disaster, poverty increments, and what have you, under the one that replaced Beta Edu, right? He was also on channels. They are doing some media runs. They are so lucky, though. They are so lucky. Enough that people are passing through a lot. However, they do not have the strength, the understanding, so to say, to stand up to these guys. But let's take this one first. From the partner to Sheikh Osama bin Gumi. Remember this guy?
This is a very, very sad conversation we're going to have, and very heartbreaking, to put it mildly, as it were. But what do you attribute the sad events in the past few days in some part of the country? Just about 3 days back to back, and we're talking about roughly 60 lives got taken away.
Right. I am deeply saddened, and any human being with a beating heart should be, that our people are turned into beggars 64 years after our independence, lining up to get grains from our politicians through the churches or whichever avenue they choose to give. This is a very rich and endowed country, and this is where we have descended. I'm truly saddened. My thought and prayers go to the families of the lost ones. But we shouldn't be seeing what we are seeing. The good book said, when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people groan. Millions of Nigerians today are groaning. They're hungry in this our land of plenty. I have been screaming this all across the land for the past 9-10 months, here with some graphics that there is hunger in the land. Millions of Nigerians, predominantly women and children, go to bed hungry with no certainty of having anything to eat when they wake up. In this our land of plenty. And you come to Abuja, what do you see our politicians doing? Living it up. Look at the budget. All they're interested in is their creature comfort. Nigeria, the land I grew up in, the land that gave me all I got. We are now reduced to beggars by no less people than our leaders. This hunger is self-imposed. In a country that is not officially at war, in a country that we don't have famine, the rains have not failed. We have beautiful rain, but common rice is out of reach of the common man. When this government came to power, a bag of 50 kilos of rice was 8,500. Now it's hitting 90,000. What is the minimum wage? I tell you, 90% of Nigerian households cannot buy a bag of rice. So the government, from the state to the federal, they are weaponizing hunger. And you see, I go to Katsina, what do I see? I see a bag of rice with the face of the president, and I feel insulted. It's just like you see. Would you see the face of Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, on a bag of rice that is that they are giving, UN is given to refugees? These politicians are treating all of us, all Nigerians, as conquered people. And they are throwing grains at us.
Professor,
while they are living it up.
Professor, you lay the background for this conversation, looking at the socioeconomic and the political process we've come so far. But with the benefit of hindsight, would you think that if anyone is going to organize a palliative distribution in Nigeria, looking at what happened years and years ago, that certain measures should be in place and not just invite people and give them just one location, that anyone should expect that people are going to rush in, women, children, as you can see in those images. Some of them are pregnant women with bags of rice on their head, heavy with pregnancy. So I'm just imagining what could happen. So is there any way in which charity organizations, government agencies, MDAs, we've seen some corporate organizations on television, if you watch it on Arise, banks and other institutions distribute these same palliatives in a way that does not cause stampede nor death?
Right. For us to even accept this is acceptable is not acceptable, to be honest. To give the government an idea, oh, this is how you should distribute palliatives, for goodness sake. For goodness sake, we are still giving our people grains.
You find that
This is symptomatic of the problem.
You found that insulting.
We are treating the symptoms. No, absolutely, absolutely. Look, I'm a doctor. You do not treat symptoms. You treat the disease. What we are seeing and what we just saw, this death stampede from distributing palliatives, can happen anywhere in this country. A symptom. Let's treat the disease. This is symptomatic of a bigger problem, a broken economy, hyperinflation, unemployment, and corruption in government. We do not treat the main problem. We're just treating symptoms and just distributing grains. For goodness sake, Nigeria, that we go around the world, that the president goes around the world, that we are the giants of Africa, we have GDP, we want a $1 trillion economy. Our people are being treated like beggars, lining up, and we're giving them grains like you see in the Sudan or Afghanistan or Yemen. The world is watching. This is not good. This is symptomatic of the injustice in this country. This is symptomatic of the injustice in this country, where we are giving our people rice 64 years after independence, when our leaders here in Abuja are living it up, when our governors are buying SUVs. There's hunger all over. There is hunger in the land. I've been screaming this. Government should stop everything. Mr. President, you are building a 15.6 trillion highway. You bought a plane of 150 billion. You bought a yacht of how many billions? You are buying SUVs all over the place. Your people are dying of hunger, and they're being killed in stampede to get rice. For goodness sake. We are not going to accept that. This is not acceptable, and we are not going to give the government or anybody any ways to, oh, this is how you should distribute this. No, this is not acceptable. It's not.
Yes, it is. When we look at...
And I saw the front page, right, and I saw the front page today of leadership, that security agents are going to supervise distribution of palliatives. For goodness sake. Is that how low our military or our security agencies have descended to? They are going to be guarding how rice is going to be distributed when the soldier or the policeman cannot buy rice for his family. So we are accepting this? We should not accept this. We shouldn't.
Yes, Professor, this is a very...
If we reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the net get bigger and we take in more taxes, and that is what we must do in the
That's what we must do in the answers. That's right. Nigeria has now turned to the country of palliatives. Nigeria is not at war, hypothetically, or literally, Nigeria is not at war. But Nigerians are like refugees in their own country. And they are living like people who are actually like at war or refugees at war. The poverty level has gotten so much that those who weaponize this poverty, those who created this poverty, have also turned to weaponize the poverty, where sharing of palliative, sharing of expired food in most cases is now a national policy of APC. What is the supposed minister of humanitarian disaster as well as poverty increments and what have you? What is he saying about this? Again, the country of palliative. Listen to their minister, the guy in charge. Then I have a part of what Tinubu's recorded media chats has been saying as well on this matter. I'll bring that to you soon, okay? But listen to this.
Chess and the even transportation, the logistics and everything about you. Then we did the identification along with SEMA, the state emergency. Yes. So we did the identification of all the households that were affected by this crisis, and we grouped them by communities. Then we distributed the food based on the minute communities. We now fragmented the communities into what we call sensory renovation areas to make it smaller, smaller units. So these units, food were distributed to these units. So each unit had their unit leaders, household leaders that were affected, and the household leaders were asked to pick their food at social location. It makes it just easier and smarter. So these are processes that you can easily adopt. So quite okay. People even, sometimes we even engage NGOs, international NGOs, to assist us. So we must, you must distribute this food yourself.
Right. Honorable Minister, so I talked about the context, right? And it's good to see how your ministry, how the government does it. But we have people who just want to give out 10 bags or 10 packs, dozens of packs, hundreds of packs. I imagine that they will not want to, they might not want to come and give the packs. So we won't get missing, you know, all of these trust issues that people have. And it's just within their communities, right? They
identify your beneficiaries.
Exactly. So I'm saying not everybody.
100 beneficiaries.
Not everybody has to come to you. If you have 10 bags to give, you can give around your area.
Identify the 100 beneficiaries.
Come.
No. Identify your beneficiaries.
Yes.
Who are your beneficiaries?
All right.
Identify them, name them, and also inform them. You must not do a crowd. You must not invite. Okay, with this, you watch our distribution. You don't see crowd. We don't invite crowd for distribution.
Now, this is the heart of the question I was going to ask.
But you see, sometimes most people want to, like, do a public show. So they invite many people. They want to see the crowd around.
Certainly, that is what causes
political
issues.
gains, sometimes for emotional gains, for public gains, sometimes also to sell the church or the organizational presence.
That is now public. That's no more giving. That's something else entirely. But my question, Minister, is this. People are doing this because of the context of the economy we're in. And as I said earlier, your ministry is vital to that. There are a lot of people who have since dropped into poverty level because now the price of the bag of rice is beyond reach. Multidimensional poverty. Talk about petrol, for example, is beyond reach. Rent, beyond reach. And most of their salaries remain the same. Some have even lost their jobs in the context of this. Some have lost their businesses. So that is the reality. And some people go to the extent of describing it as T-pain. And I'm sure that's something you have seen time and again. Even the government has said it's T-gain. But it's now back and forth. So the reality is that there is difficulty for a lot of people. A lot of people are suffering in that sense. So is this government aware of that? Are you trying to speed up the recovery process? Because this is something that is at the heart of the stampedes we're seeing.
I know. I agree with you 100%. And the president has also accepted that fact. If you listen to his speeches, even the 1st October speech, he acknowledged that fact. Then I wasn't in the government yet. I was appointed in November, so I'm just about 48 days 48 days in office now. But mark you, in what the president was so specific, there are policies that he brought in to see if that can ease those challenges. People at the lower end of the pyramid, number one, he said that we should reach out to 15 million beneficiaries under the conditional cash transfer to help ease the pain of Nigerians who are at the bottom level under our social register. That's household, not individuals. Household, each household, we assume approximately has about 5 people. So if we're targeting 15 million households, it means the president is targeting 75 million Nigerians to be affected by this conditional cash transfer. That's number one.
And how many have you reached so far? Do you have? Because I know it was suspended during the previous minister's period where there was that controversy and all of that. How many have you been able to reach out of those? Because these are the same people.
5 million have been reached so far.
5 million.
But this is the challenge that we had. The new policy of CBN requires that you must have digital identity before you're given any money to help transparency and traceability of any fund that is being made in Nigeria. So for now we have just about 1.4 million people on that register that have digital identity. Most people are reaching out to are people who are not within the banking segment.
Financially inclusive.
Yes, not financially inclusive. So it was, you open the digital, you just open a digital wallet for them, and then you pay them through the wallet, and then they just have cards to go and withdraw on POS. But with this, the federal, the government now work along with the World Bank. World Bank also saw the need for this, and they intervened. They are providing 3,000 devices for us to help in data capturing. Already we have 1,000 devices, adding to make it 4,000 devices. And we're looking for also possibility of adding additional 4,000 devices next year to make it 8,000 devices. We deploy it across the country and see if we can fast track the process of capturing those 15 million people that the president has directed us to do. So that once we can capture and give them digital identity, geotag them and have location for them also, then traceability of distribution of material will also be improved and enhanced. And also that social register will not just be used by our own agencies alone, but also by the even general public. Because we have individuals that want to support, they just come to the register, they will trace them based on their poverty rate. And there's a ranking of poverty based on the social register that we have. People are ranked.
This social register, is this something you can find online, or is it exclusive because you want to protect the dignity of the people? How does it work? And how many people are there now? I know you're targeting 15 million.
Yes.
But how many people are on the register?
We have 90 million on the social register. Right?
People
households.
People or households?
Okay, households, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Household leaders.
Household leaders, that's
and
one of 5, that's what you mean?
Yes, for us, household leaders are women, not men.
Okay.
Because we target women as the household leaders. Because women take care of the children and the vulnerable. Women, you have pregnant women who are also vulnerable. You have also, breastfeeding mothers who are also vulnerable. And sometimes you can have men that have multiple wives. So if you pay a man, he may need to take care of the multiple wives. Or sometimes he may even not take care of one of the wives. So we enroll women as the household leaders.
How much goes to each household?
25,000.
25,000 a month?
No, 3 times in a year.
Okay, 3 times.
Because it's just to support them. It's a support process. Not as if we are paying them completely, but that's on 5,000 naira in a year to support the vulnerable groups.
So by your record now, based on this electronic or digital capture,
yes,
you have less than 2 million people on that.
Yes,
that you can actually help.
Yes. As it is now.
As it is now.
Because of the suspension, because of the new policy of the central bank. That's why we're fast-tracking the process. We just finished training people that we're deploying against next year to start the data capturing for us so we can fast-track as much as possible. Mark you, this social register, actually, if it comes to fruition and we now automate it, it will help not just there are many organizations that provide this welfare to people. You see, maybe BOA providing rice. You see that providing rice. You see different. You see different organizations providing support.
Nuisance lele.
Ẹni òfò ni ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún sí lálìkìyàmà ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí.
How many of you can see through the lies? You know, as he's talking very fast. How many of you can see through the lies? Me, 1. Yeah, you, 2, 3. You see, 100, 200. See, about almost all of you can see through the lies. Abi? Few weeks ago, Wale Edun boldly told us that they have paid